Well, it's Friday, and you all know what that means. That means once again we have AEW Rampage. We have several good, interesting matches taking place. As you know, we have the Undisputed Kingdom taking on Orange Cassidy and his friends as a prelude before we get to Revolutions for Orange Cassidy to defend the AEW International title. We are going to see, of course, the Young Bucks after their heinous attack against Darby Allin and Sting, and we have several other matches as well. But we're also going to find out who levels up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up. But first things first, we're going to go back to Thursday, where Pro Wrestling Noah, in fact, had their much recent show, Sunny Voyage. Now, it appears that many wrestlers are preparing for the upcoming tag team tournament, the Victory Challenge Tag League. If you guys know, this is only for the heavyweight competitors on this one. So I'm excited to see how this is going to play out from here on out. And then we move on, of course, with some news updates regarding a lot of the updates with the promotions, who's booked, what matches are set, and what events are taking place as well, and other developments that's been going on in the world of pro wrestling that the world needs to know about or needs to hear. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Lead It Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do more real-timing news updates, the Unagi Saka Watch, and various other cool things on this channel. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool stuff on this channel as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, let's begin with Pro Wrestling Noah. As you know, we come off the heels from their much recent event crossover in Sendai, where we crown a brand new GHC heavyweight champion. But however, as you know, we will be getting the annual Victory Challenge Tag League. Now, there's two different type of tag leagues in Pro Wrestling Noah. There's one for the heavyweights and the junior heavyweight. But this one is strictly for the heavyweights, the Victory Challenge Tag League. So that's only for the heavyweight competitors. So throughout the entirety of this show, many wrestlers said that they're going to participate. Who are they going to team up? Now, let's begin with our very first match. And this took recently on last Thursday on the 8th of February. Now, our first match, we have the young boy, Yu Awada, taking on Keno. Now, just to be fair, as a fan, I'm a fan of Keno. He's a total badass. I knew that the Keno was going to murder him, and he did by applying the PK. Now, as soon as he won the match, Yu Wada wanted something from him. I don't know what he was, but Keno kind of, how do I say this, didn't want to hear it or was not interested. But however, in the post-match comments, it was on their X account. Yu Owada said that he wants to learn from Keno, basically be his student. And of course, Keno was like a bit of surprise. I don't know what prompted you Owada to, approach Keno. I've always said Keno is not an easy person to get along with. I mean, he would value you unless you're a tough SOB. But I think he will value you Owada not only because he will learn from him, but it will teach him to be disciplinary as any other wrestler he has ever met. And I think, but he also said that he would like to team up with him. I mean, for the tag league. So he knows that he may not have the advantage, but he knows he'll have a student that'll follow every word that he says. I'm sure he'll give him a little tough love if he screws up, but we'll see what happens. Now, our next match, Alpha Wolf and his brother Dragon Bane take on Hiroki and Kotoge. Now, these guys, of course, are excellent junior heavyweight competitors. Now, recently, we did see Alpha Wolf and Dragon Bane compete for the GHC heavyweight tag team titles, but it was an amazing match, despite the fact that they were considered juniors. Now, they never explained why did they allow them to wrestle for these titles, but it was fantastic. But now that they're coming back, I'm not sure if they will compete at the Victory Challenge tag league. That's something I'm not sure. But however, the match itself went into the favor of the brothers Alpha and Dragon, when of course Alpha applied a somewhat of a modified pile driver onto Hiroki. Now during a post match comments, Atsushi Kotoge decided that he's going to jump weight class to heavyweight. So leaving Hiroki hanging, I'm not sure what was the purpose, or unless he feels that Hiroki should be getting more attention as a junior heavyweight. We know that Kotoge has been the top guy in the junior heavyweight division before, so he felt like, okay, I'm leaving this guy to let him shine even more. So that could be the possibility, but we'll see. Now our next match, we have trios action. We have Real, consistent of Shuhei Taniguchi, Saxon Huxley, and Timothy Thatcher. They take on uh, Hajime Ohara, Daiki Inaba, and Masakita Miya. So, as you know, this is going to be a very interesting match. Now, Real are the toughest SOBs we know so far as a unit. They've always proven why they're the toughest, and they don't hold back. But in fact, it was um, Taniguchi who picked up, no, Huxley who picked up the win when he applied a sitting down power bomb onto, was it? Onto O'Hara. So basically, you put away a junior heavyweight competitor, which was easy for a strong individual. Now, our next match, this is a very interesting one. We have Eita taking on one half of the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, Tadasuke. Now, I don't know what's the significance, but Eita, who is determined to be the face of the Junior Heavyweight division in Noah, he was fantastic. He pulled off an amazing victory when he rolled up Tadasuke. That really pissed him off, knowing that he lost to a guy like Eita. Eita has proven why he should be the face of the junior heavyweight division in Noah. Now, our next match, we have a GLG showdown, good looking guys showdown. So we have, of course, LJ Clearing. He teams up with Jack Morris, who is our current one half of the GHC Heavyweight Tag Champions and the current GHC National Champion. They face against their teammates, Anthony Green and Jake Lee. So this is going to be interesting. However, throughout the entirety of the match, LJ Clearing, who's like the youngest member of the group, never shuts the hell up. He always tries to stir the pot. I don't know. I don't think he's trying to stir the pot against each other, but I think he's trying to stir the pot to try to make this more excitement, maybe not to have wrestlers hold back. But the one person you don't want to piss off is the boss himself, Jake Lee. But there was a moment where, of course, Elgin Clary accidentally was trying to break the arm off of Jack Morrison, but he apologized and then all this and that. But unfortunately, Green was defeated. Anthony Green was suffered the fate when um, Jack Morris applied the Tiger Driver, and it was over from there. Now, I don't know what he said in the promo by Jake Lee. I'm going to presume that maybe he will participate in the annual Victory Challenge Tag League. We know that Green and Morris will be participating since they are the current GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. That's something that may be clear, but we will see where that leads us from here on out. Now, next match is our semi-main event. Junta Miyawaki, Shuji Kondo, and Manabu Soya, they take on Rohei Oiwa, Ninja Mac, and Kaito Kiyomiya. I was amazed by this match, how it was going to be. Now, as you know, Shuji Kondo and Miyawaki, two junior heavyweight competitors involved with Manabu Soya, who is one of the strongest guys. I thought it was fantastic, but however, it was Oiwa with a somewhat of a a Texas Cloverleaf that sealed the deal for him to force Miyawaki to pick up the win. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Kiyomiya and Rohei Oiwa compete in the Victory Challenge Tag League. That's something I know for sure that could happen, but we will see. Our main event is another junior heavyweight match of a showcase. We have Hayata, who has been the face of the promotion for a very long time. He faces against a guy who, on my honest opinion, should be at the top of the junior heavyweight division, Yohei. But what I like about this, as you guys don't know, Yohei has never defeated Hayata. On many occasions, he was unable to defeat him. Now, you could say, could this be the opportunity for Yohei to finally have an up match against him? Well, unfortunately, it did not do any well because Hayata once again outdid him again, pinned him the match. However, in the post-match comment, it appears, as you know, Hayata and Eita, who are in fact a tag team, they both defeated the current GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. So, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what does that mean. That means that they will become the next challengers. But will Tadasuke and Yohei be concerned over the fact that each of them have a loss? I don't know. But if I'm Jake Lee, I would say, what the hell happened, boys? You were supposed to be the best junior heavyweight tag champions, and this. Well, we'll see what happens until then. But right now, let's move on with our next review, AEW Rampage. Okay, AEW Rampage opened up with trios actions. Trent Berretta, Rochy Romero, and Orange Cassidy taking on the members of the Undisputed Kingdom, Roderick Strong, Matt Tamet, and Mike Bennett. Now remember, Roderick Strong initiate the challenge for the AEW International title, which is Orange Cassidy's title, because he believes that he is the rightful owner of that belt. However, recently, this past Wednesday, we did see that the entirety of the Undisputed Kingdom attacked Chuck Taylor to try to prevent him from ever coming back in time to help his buddies. However, things did not go well because they were very coordinated of exactly what's going to happen. Rock Romero took matters in those hands, tried to hold up as much as possible, but unfortunately, Roderick Strong applied the end of heartache. Then Taven picked up the win by pinning him, and it was over. Then they decided to continue to punish Rochy Romero even further. But however, of course, Orange Cassidy and the rest and Trent Beretta tried to hold them back, which they did. However, this feud between them is long for over. But however, we know that Orange Cassidy will be in action to take on Tomohiro Ishii, which become into question. Why is he challenging him? Well, we'll see. Now, we saw, of course, the so-called EVPs, the Young Bucks, taking this whole EVPs way too serious. They want people to call them Matthew and Nicholas and all this. They said they feel bad for what they did to Sting and Darby Allin, but they face a couple of jobbers, Rocks and Robbie Light. But however, of course, they low blowed. I think it was Robbie Light who got low blowed, and then of course they applied the EVP trigger, no longer called the BTE trigger. But of course, they're determined, saying that they are injured, that there is no way to continue. They want them to relinquish the tag titles so they can work their way back up to get them. But I wouldn't be surprised that's not going to happen anyway if they think that this heinous attack will work in their favor. Now, our next match, we have Mistico taking on Matt Sydal. You probably would think this is going to be interesting. As you know, Matt Sydal is one of those wrestlers that we know that did not like how CML talent have busted into their house and had a beating up John Moxley, who many would say he's a locker room leader. You would say there was going to be some interesting, a little bit of high flying, a little bit of the technical aspect, which was true. But, however, it was Mystico with the Spanish fly that, in fact, made the deal breaker and put away, of course, um, Matt Sydal. But this is also a clear message to anybody in the AEW locker room that don't try to discriminate lucha libre because they think, oh, we just because we do hippie flippy stuff doesn't mean that you can't stop us. They know what they're doing. They know that sometimes their flippy stuff is really vulnerable, but they can actually be a little bit of the technical if they have to. Now, Rene Paquette conducted an interview with Brian Cage, who has a huge chip on the shoulder, and that shoulder is, of course, is Hook, who is the current FTW champion. Now, everybody knows that Brian Cage was the first ever FTW champion in AEW. So basically, he did not like the fact that Hook got into his business this past week and all this, but unfortunately, he wants to have him for this coming collision. So let's see how that plays out in the end. Now, our next match, we have Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander, along with Stokely Hathaway, taking on the Outcast consistent of Ruby Soho and Saraya. However, there was a moment where we saw Ruby Soho was looking at a note. I don't know what was that all about. But however, there was a moment where we did see that, of course, Saraya mistakenly hit Ruby Soho and it was over from there. But there was a moment where, of course, Saraya tried to tag Ruby Soho. She just walked away. Cameron Haley tried to reason with her, but she knocked her out, so that left Saraya leaving alone in the gutter, knowing that she was by herself. But it was, of course, Ruby Soho with, what's her name? Willow Nightingale with the Dr. Bomb that sealed the deal. So that's going to be interesting, and that gave her and Statlander the win. And of course, Stokely may be happy with how things are now, but unfortunately, that celebration was cut a little too short with the reappearance of their former friend and the very diabolical Sky Blue. And of course, Julia Hart showed up. Now, I don't know what's the purpose of this, but I'm sure that we could see a feud between both sides. So that is something we're going to see. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks for this. So for now, I think we're done with AEW Rampage. Let's move on with our last final review, NXT Level Up. Okay, so who levels up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up? Let's find out. Our first match, we have Kelani Jordan versus Stevie Turner. Now, I haven't seen Stevie Turner for quite some time. I mean, there were times we have seen her, then we haven't seen her since then. I don't know what's going on in that whole ordeal with her. I don't know if she's been injured on multiple times. But, however, Kalani Jordan has continued to impress us little by little every time we look at her. Now, you would think that in some capacity, Stevie Turner, who has a little bit of the experience in Kalani Jordan, would pick up the win. No, that's what I initially thought. But Kalani Jordan showed that why many people have considered her as the future of NXT, which is, of course, we have heard from Kiana James and Izzy Dame. And then, of course, she applied the leg split moonsault. That was the real ending for, of course, Stevie Turner to pick up the win. Now, Sarah conducted an interview with Big Body Javier Benar. Now, he has to face against a guy who, as you know, forgot who was to the test. His name is Keanu Carver. So basically, Javi knows he has to deal with the guy who is strong and powerful. Yeah, now I remember. He contempt with Riley Osborne. So Javier, Big Body Javi, knows what is at stake. But let's see how that turned out. But of course, that match was next. Javier Bernal really tried everything. Now, keep in mind, Keanu Carver is a big, strong dude with a bit of a powerhouse style in his match. But you would think that Big Body Javi would found a way to walk out of this alive. Well, he did. He actually put down Carver, and then he used the ropes to his leverage to pick up the win, and it was over right from there. I'm sure, of course, Keanu Carver did not like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a rematch made to right or wrong on this one. Now, our next match, we have Tavon Heights taking on a member of the North No Quarter Catch Crew. Now, Tavon Heights, as you know, he's almost in the same kind of stylistic style as No Quarter Catch Crew. I mean, I don't understand why they never recruited this guy. I mean, he is come from the same cloth as them, but of course, Tavon Heights is not an idiot. He knows that there's a disadvantage in this match. That, of course, Miles Osborne, who's his opponent, his compatriots are outside watching. So that could be the X factor, which it kind of did. Now, Tavon Heights did everything to avoid that moron Drew Gulak, but it was not enough. That distraction gave enough time for Morrison to pick up a win by applying a power slam. 1, 2, 3, it was over right from there from the start. So, as you know, No Quarter Catch Crew are making a statement, but for how long? We know that they have plans by obtaining the Heritage Cup title. It's only a matter of time until Noam Dar realizes that he is not even earned the right to become that. But we'll see what happens. But right now, let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have so far. Now let's begin with the promotional stuff first on their upcoming events. First things first is all the updates with GCW shows from here on out all the way to Philly. Now, our first one we have, as you know, we're not that far off from their upcoming event on the 23rd of February in Dallas, Touch the Sky. We found out that Los Desperados, consisting of Gringo Loco, Latigo, and Ares, will be taking on Microman, Ori El Bendito, and Aramis. I think that's going to be an interesting match to enjoy. Now, starting in the month of March, on March 1st in St. Louis for Project GCW. It's already been announced that Deathmatch Royalty will be taking on everybody's favorite dad, Dan the Dad, and of course Shazam. So I'm so excited to see. Later on the 23rd of March in Detroit for Role Model, it's already been. They announced that they signed Joey Janela, Gringo Loco, Blake Christian, and Microman to be participating in the show. However, the following day, on the 24th of March, for The Block is Hot in Rochester, New York, which I like to call Brody Lee Country, Danhausen is now 100% confirmed that he will be there, since I already mentioned that in the last episode. But they also announced Colin Delaney, Cheech, and Cloudy. I don't know who's Cheech or Cloudy. I never met them, but yes, I never seen them. And then finally, all the way to their Philly show on the 4th of April, GCW/JCW versus The World. It's announced that Los Desperados will be in action to take on Team Dragon Gate. That consists of Shun Skywalker, Yamato, and Dragon Kid. So I think that's going to be a real fun match. Now, as you know, recently, February is always a special occasion when it comes to New Japan. They get to collaborate with their counterparts in Mexico, Consejo Mundial Lucha Libre, or as we call them, CMLL. So now there was a recent report that I posted out previously about a while back that they're going to have female talent participate this. They already announced for Lluvia and La Chorita to participate in it, but they announced that Stardom talent will also be participating in the show as well. However, the obvious question is who's going to be in it? Well, they announced that it's going to be Starlight Kid and Raka in this one. So this is going to be a very interesting match. I definitely got to watch. Now, um, Deadlock Pro Wrestling for their Forever show on the 18th of February in Pasadena, Texas. It's announced that Rochelle Rose will be in action to take on Hyan. Now, All Japan Pro Wrestling has announced for an upcoming tour later on this month from the 23rd of February all the way to the 25th. They announced that Katsuhiko Nakajima will have 3 non-title matches in each of these days. For February 23rd, he'll face off against Hakuto Omori. February 24th, he'll face off against Ryo Inoue. And then finally, on the 25th of February, Atsuki Oyagi. So that's going to be a very interesting match to see. Now, sad news going on. As you know, Kitsune Women's Wrestling has been suffering a lot of significant, backfires. As you know, certain wrestlers in Japan are unable to compete. Well, it turns out some of the more notable ones here in North America, or mostly in the U.S., Dark Sheik will not be participating in this show. It really sucks. I feel bad for the promoter, but I'm sure this is something he's learning, knowing that some things may not go according to plan. But he didn't say if there's going to be any replacements for Dark Sheik, but only time will tell. Now, finally, as you know, a Georgia promotion known as Action Wrestling has announced for their April 26th event, Mustafa Ali will be participating. So, yes, this one was announced, and I'm so excited for that as well. Now, some interesting developments has happened. As you all know, Mariah May is currently in AEW, but however, she posted out an interesting tweet in direct to Guilia. Now, as you guys know, Guilia and Mariah May did had an encounter during last year's 5-Star Grand Prix. She had something really interesting to say. Let me pull it up real quick. Oh, yeah, here it is. She says, "My good friend Guilia, we've got each other's numbers. I'm waiting for her. Whenever she wants to come and defend the New Japan Strong Belt, or if she wants to run it back with me, she knows where I'm at." And this one was from Muscle Man Malcolm. So I don't know if she's telling her to come by to AEW or whatever, but we all know what she's going to do now. She's going to be supporting Rossy, helping out kickstart his new promotion, and then she'll make her way to WWE. Now, Syuri gave her thoughts about the recent thing about Rossy Ogawa as well. This is what she had to say. She tells Tokyo Sports that she wants to focus to be on the wrestlers and what they want to do in the ring. Syuri puts over how everyone have worked in Stardom. She also shared her appreciation for Rossy, citing how important he's been in her career, but noted her feelings towards him won't change. Once everyone can get through what's been happening, they'll be able to grow once again. So the way it says, it's like Syuri may be appreciating what Rossy Ogawa did, but looks more like he wants to help out for the next generation of wrestlers, which is good. I mean, we know she's been one of the most famous wrestlers in Japan before Stardom, but we'll see where that goes. Now, there's been a lot of significant talk about Mecerdes Mone, and this is something that was discussed by a Wrestling Observer. So this is what they had to say. The original announcement was scheduled for earlier, but they moved it back because it have gotten lost in all the Mystic Man news. Okay, so there was plans to bring Mecerdes Mone earlier than expected, but due to the circumstances surrounding Vince and his little allegations, it would have caused an overshadow to Mecerdes Mone. So I think that was a smart move, knowing that they had to push it back so it won't be associated with them. Recently, Wrestling Observer talked about the morality in the backstage area, saying that it got that's the best been in some time. So this is what they had to say. A couple of people have noticed that the morale have really picked up and is the best in some time. Even if the ratings this week is universally disappointed for such loaded show that was promoted as the biggest Dynamite the year, with the match determined Revolution main event, the title match involving Sting, where the speculation was he win, and Tony Khan's big announcement. So it seems that things are going great. Despite the fact of the ratings, they're not bothered by that. As long as the morale is good, then we'll be fine. Oh, sorry. Now, Orange Cassidy recently went on a podcast and talked about himself a little bit. Now, as you all know, I often talk about unique characters when it comes in wrestling. Orange Cassidy is one of those guys. And he said something very interesting what he said about his gimmick. Clearly, no one was interested in me. It wasn't anything I was doing that was working because I was linked to the advice of people that work for them. So I just decided just to do the opposite. Whatever I could do and stand out and be able to show everyone who Orange Cassidy is, being different is what I did, and it started to work. I just started being really who I am. I started being lazy. I started doing what I wanted to do. Everybody can identify having a get up and go to work and not really wanting to be there, but still do the job. I mean, that kind of fits exactly what he was doing. I mean, he looked kind of like the wrestler who is lazy, who just doesn't want to be there, but he had to do it anyway. And I think that's a good thing to hear about. So yeah. Now, interesting developments going on. Um, Seattle promotion DEFY Wrestling has announced that they will be doing a working relationship with UK promotion Progress Wrestling. I think this is going to be good, to have talent coming from both sides. Maybe hopefully doing a collaboration of talent on show. I don't know what, but I think it's going to be great. I can't wait to see what else they're going to do. Now, finally, as you may remember recently, I talked about the potential partnership of WWE and All Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, before I proceed, I know some of you WWE loyalists, especially if you guys are my subscribers, would say, but they're better off with New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling made a big mistake being with AEW. That may be so, but there's a problem, guys. They're not sports entertainment stuff. There's all about the sports. WWE will never go for that. But All Japan seems like they're actually going for that. The reasons behind the partnership was because, of course, insights of the company involving at-risk girls and Nakajima possibly appearing in NXT. So they're still now coming the talks. But, however, for the record, it's now been confirmed no, Simon Aonoki was not involved in this whole negotiation. Now, he may have started the negotiations, but he is not what was going on. So we'll see what happens until then. But the obvious thing I always said, will this thing come through? I don't know. Only time will tell. So we will see what happens. I'm sure WWE would want to have a working relationship with New Japan, but it seems like it's going to be a little difficult than we possibly would think. But for all the AEW fans would say it's never going to happen with New Japan, but they can have All Japan. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But for now, I think that's pretty much it. What we have. So let's just call it a day. All right. So I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Um, for the record, I haven't seen certain events that I was unable to do. First of all, there's the much recent show with MLW Super Fight 4, I believe. That is still on my list, and so is, of course, the GCW Feels No Way. So that is still going. I'm going to work on that. I was having a hard time last time try to watch it. I was attempting to kill two birds with one stone, watching two GCW events, but they, from where I watch it, was not loaded up. No, I wasn't watching on Fight TV or Thrill TV, whatever they call that. But yes, but I will be able to watch it and move on. And of course, we do have AEW Collision, so we'll be following up. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm going to be doing another Unagi Sayaka watch. I'll be doing that very soon. However, I will be, of course, doing the next step. Will be, of course, following up more of the situation with TNA with the firing of Scott D'Amore, and of course more with Stardom. If there's more information coming out to light, then we will go from there. But for now, this is what I have for everybody. But Until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.